We spent 9 seasons calling Marshall and Lily's relationship goals. The couple that finishes each other's sentences. The couple that's never spent a night apart. The couple that literally, and I mean literally, shares a toothbrush. But if you actually look at what's happening beneath the surface, it wasn't a romance. It was a cage. And here's the uncomfortable part. What if the person who loves you most is also the one stopping you from existing? If you look, Marshall and Lily were the only thing holding How I Met Your Mother together. While everyone else was a mess, they were the gold standard, the stable ones. Living proof that soulmates exist. They had inside jokes no one else could crack. They communicated in looks. They were so in sync they became a single unit, Marshmallow or Lilypad. Never just Marshall. Never just Lily. And we loved it. But here's what we missed. The red flags were there the whole time. The shared toothbrush wasn't cute. It was a symptom. And Lily creating a Marshpillow just to maintain the illusion of a shared life while Marshall was away? That's not love. That's dependency. And when Lily left for San Francisco in season 1, everyone called her selfish. The villain who abandoned her soulmate for some art program. But what if that wasn't selfishness? What if it was survival? Here's the reframe that changes everything. You thought Lily was a selfish partner who threw away a perfect relationship for her own dreams. But she was actually someone experiencing what psychologists call identity foreclosure, a desperate attempt to escape a relationship that had completely swallowed her whole. This wasn't about Marshall being a bad guy or Lily being ungrateful. This was about enmeshment, a psychological pattern where two people become so fused that they stop existing as individuals. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's talk about what enmeshment actually looks like. In psychology, enmeshment happens when the boundaries between two people get so blurred that they can't tell where one ends and the other begins. It's not closeness, it's fusion. And Marshall and Lily? Textbook case. Sounds romantic, right? But here's what's really happening underneath. These aren't signs of intimacy. They're signs of boundary erosion. There's this psychologist, Salvador Minuchin, who studied family systems and found that enmeshed relationships create this intense sense of belonging, but at the total expense of autonomy. You feel close, sure, but you also feel trapped. Because when you're that intertwined, any independent thought feels like betrayal. Have you ever been in a relationship where you started losing your I in the we? Where your hobbies suddenly felt selfish? Where your own dreams felt like disloyalty? That's what was happening to Lily. Every time she wanted something that didn't include Marshall, it felt like she was tearing the entire relationship apart. Because in an enmeshed system, individual desire becomes a threat. And here's the thing. If they're this fused, what happens when one of them wants something the other doesn't? Okay, let's talk about the Marshpillow. You remember it? When Marshall left, Lily couldn't sleep without him. So she made a pillow pretending it's him for her to cuddle every night. The show played it for laughs. We thought it was adorable. But psychologically, massive red flag. This is what's called identity diffusion, when your sense of self is so dependent on another person that you literally cannot function without them. Lily didn't just miss Marshall. She couldn't exist without him. And that's the danger of the whole soulmate myth. We've been trained by movies and TV to believe that becoming one is the goal, that you should complete each other, that you should need each other. But needing someone to sleep? Needing someone to make decisions? Needing someone to regulate your emotions? That's not love. That's codependency. And the scary part is, it doesn't feel toxic when you're in it. It feels like devotion, like proof you found the one. Until one day you realize you're terrified of being alone with your own thoughts. Because you don't actually know who you are outside of being someone's partner. That's what happened to Lily. And that's why the season 1 finale wasn't just some dramatic plot twist. It was an enmeshment break, a moment where the suffocation became so unbearable that the only option was to blow everything up. Now here's where it gets even darker. There's this concept in relationship psychology called the Michelangelo Phenomenon. The idea is that a healthy partner sculpts you into your best self. They support your growth. They encourage your dreams. They see your potential and help you reach it. But in enmeshed relationships, the opposite happens. Instead of sculpting you toward your ideal self, your partner sculpts you to stay the same because change feels like abandonment. Growth feels like betrayal. And Marshall's sweet, loving, supportive Marshall was doing this to Lily without even realizing it. Every time Lily mentioned her art, Marshall would smile and nod. But deep down, he didn't really get it. He didn't see why she needed it. Because in his mind, their life together was already perfect. So when she got the fellowship in San Francisco, he didn't see it as an opportunity. He saw it as a threat. And Lily felt it. She felt the guilt. The weight of his unconditional love that was actually conditional on her staying. Exactly who she was when they met. This is what people don't talk about. Sometimes, the person who loves you most is the one who keeps you small. Not because they're cruel, but because your growth destabilizes the system you built together. Think about this season 9 fight, the Italy versus judgeship debate. Marshall got his dream job, but it meant Lily couldn't take hers in Rome, and instead of celebrating each other's success, they almost got divorced. Because in an enmeshed marriage, you can't both grow. Someone has to shrink. So let's go back to San Francisco. For years, we've been told Lily was selfish, that she threw away a perfect relationship for some art program that didn't even work out. But here's the truth. Lily didn't leave because she didn't love Marshall. She left because she couldn't find Lily while Marshall was in the room. And that's the tragedy of enmeshment. It doesn't feel like control. It feels like love, which makes it so much harder to escape. Because how do you explain to someone, I love you, but I'm disappearing? How do you say, you're not doing anything wrong, but I can't breathe? You can't. So instead, you become the villain. You blow up the relationship. You hurt the person you love most, just so you can remember what it feels like to exist. And the worst part? Everyone will call you selfish for it. So let me ask you something. Who are you when your partner isn't in the room? Do you have dreams you've stopped mentioning because they don't fit the unit? Are those cute couple traditions actually anchors keeping you from drifting into your own growth? Be honest. Because if you can't answer those questions without feeling guilty, you might be living in a cage that looks like a castle. And here's the thing, it's not about loving someone less. It's about loving yourself enough. A healthy relationship isn't two halves making a whole. It's two whole people choosing to walk side by side. Not fused together, but moving in the same direction. Marshall and Lily didn't fail because they loved each other too much. They struggled because they never learned how to love each other and themselves at the same time. Look, I'm not saying Marshall and Lily were a disaster. They had real love, real history, real devotion. But their marriage wasn't the dream we were sold. It was a cautionary tale wrapped in inside jokes and romantic gestures. And the lesson isn't, don't get close to your partner. It's don't lose yourself in the process. Because the moment you stop being you, the relationship stops being real. It becomes a performance, a habit, a cage you've decorated so well that you forgot it has bars. Marshall and Lily didn't have a perfect marriage. They had a perfect disappearance. And if there's one thing I want you to take from this, it's this. Don't lose yourself trying to find the one. The right person won't ask you to shrink. They won't make you feel guilty for growing. They won't need you to disappear so the we can exist. They'll love you whole. So here's my question for you. Which couple did you grow up thinking was goals, only to realize later they were actually a warning sign? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your stories. And if this video made you rethink what love is supposed to look like, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started.